pray.
Dear God, we thank you for today, Lord. Thank you for all things you've given us, Lord, and things maybe we can see and the ones we can't. God, we thank you for so much being able to join here tonight as a body, Lord. And we ask you to continue to watch over us as we change the seasons and go into a new year and a month, Lord. I ask you, Lord, to continue to watch over the city, watch the people that protect it, and just make it go on a day-to-day basis. And I ask you, Lord, just to be with our meeting tonight, let the things be discussed be for your benefit, the city's benefit, Lord. Just be thankful for all that we're doing. Your name we pray. Amen.
All right, we have a special treat tonight. We've got Scout Troop 560 who's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So,
Color guard, attention. Color guard advance. Color guard halt. Close colors. Attention.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard, about face. Color guard advance. Halt. Color guard dismiss.
thank you very much. Could I ask the scout leader to get up and introduce yourself and also introduce the scouts first?
I'm on the phone, scout leader for Troop 560. And we have, Carter, that done the, calling, Caleb Russell, and Corey Pope.
Okay, well, thanks a lot. We appreciate you guys being here. Okay. Call roll, please.
Councilmember Miller. Here. Monville. Here. Liston.
Here.
King. Here. Phillips.
Here.
Nunn.
Here. Okay, so for tonight, we've got a fairly sparse consent agenda, which only consists of the approval of the minutes for the last meeting. Do I have a motion for acceptance of the consent agenda?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
Show of hands. Unanimous. Okay, so we're going to start the meeting today with our department head reports now. I think I mentioned at the last meeting that we were going to split these up and we'll do half the department heads in one council meeting and half in the other council meeting. So this is our first attempt at that split agenda. So looks like first up is the fire department.
All right. Well, actually, this is our first time doing this, so I guess I'm the guinea pig for that. So, the, way this is set up, it's set up with, stoplights and bullets. So, starting off at the top, our, safety for this year so far, you can see we pretty much had no injuries or anything, we're straight on with that. Our current budget, item number 2, we're, actually online, moving along, hadn't had any, major expenditures that's out of budget line so far. Pretty much it's right on target. As you come down to the staffing, you'll notice that it's in yellow. It's a little concern there. We do have some, and as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, we have some personnel issues. We're actually short about 10 people from our average number. We are working on that and taking on some applications. We've actually reviewed a couple this week. I believe we've got one guy that we're going to accept. He's actually a transfer from another department, so we're looking at him very well. I believe he's going to do fine. That's pretty much with our staffing. You know, some of our concerns, if you move down to the concerns on staffing, a lot of times during the day, we fall short-handed because we are a volunteer department. Yes, there's ways we can improve the department with staffing. We've looked at this in the past, we looked at it 8 years ago, we looked at it 12 years ago. The only way that we're gonna improve daily staffing is to have somebody paid on staff every day. At this point, I mean, as far as the volunteer department, I think we're moving forward as good as we can. You have to realize these guys that are volunteer, they have day jobs, and most of them are going during the day, just like most of you are going during the day. So there is a few of us that are here daily, and we provide a good service for that. So that is some of the issues for staffing. Facilities, everybody knows they're always looking at facilities down the road. So like there's maintenance all the time. The current fire station we're in, where it's 25 years old, it's getting to the point to where it does have a lot of maintenance. As you look at our budget, you'll see that's one of our larger maintenance items. There's a lot of wear and tear. You know, for just an example, the doors alone. You don't think about it, but those heavy glass doors require a lot of maintenance, and they go up and down quite often. So as you look at our budget on maintenance, that's one thing to look at. You know, it would be nice. I mean, like I say, it was built in '95. It's currently 25 years old, so it is a Butler building, so it's going to have wear. But again, that's a budget issue that we budget every year, so again, we're on target for that. Vehicles. Now, vehicles is a little different. If you look at vehicles, it's yellow as well. It says our newest suppression apparatus is a 2009 model. Second one being a 2001. Now, national data does say that your first response vehicle should be a minimum of 10 years old. That's not saying every vehicle, that's saying your first response vehicle. It is 9 years old, I mean, really, it's 9 years. So we didn't put one in the budget last administration. We talked about it a lot. If you'll come down here to the issues and concerns on our aging fleet, again, it says it's over 10 years old, but in the past 50 years, the fire department was always on a 10-year plan. Whether we financed that piece of equipment, whether we purchased it for 10 years, or whatever, but every 10 years, if you look back at our vehicles, there's about a 10-year span between them. This particular year, we do have concern because we're getting outside that 10-year phase. Like I said, we didn't really plan for that last year. We had a lot going on in the last administration. We are currently down 2 staff vehicles. You know, you think about staff vehicles, you look at those different ways. You look at them and you say, well, they're just admin vehicles for people to ride around in and go to the grocery store in. Well, that's true and not true. Those guys, when they're in those vehicles, are just like patrol cars. They're there to answer calls daily. Those are the vehicles, if you think about it, the majority of our calls are public assist, alarms, wrecks with injuries, that type of thing. That's the majority of our calls. If you can run a admin vehicle to pick up that call without moving that $750,000 truck and putting wear and tear on it, in my opinion, you have accomplished something. That's one thing that we really try to do to keep the maintenance down on our trucks is the calls that's not needed for the fire apparatus. You don't move an apparatus. Now, if it's a wreck, yeah, you're going to have an apparatus coming. But most of our calls, we check alarm, public assist, burn complaints, that type of thing. We have 3 admin vehicles. Well, currently we're down to 2, but we're working on that. But hopefully we'll come up with something on that. But we are short 2 vehicles. If you look at equipment, and it's red, and it doesn't have any highlights to it. The reason it's red and no highlights is because it is a concern all the time, but it is a budgeted item that is ongoing. You will see most of the time that our tools, turnout gear, those type of things, they're large budgeted items, but they're disposable items. They get broken a lot, they wear out a lot. So that's why we don't really concern ourselves, because they're, other than the air packs, they're low cost. So they're budgeted, and we work that in the budget. Again, right now, we're online with our budget. You'll see that the air packs, that's our most expensive item for hands-on tools. Those apparatus are up to about $8,500 to $9,500 each, depending on which you get. go out of date if we do testing every year. The testing is in the certification and testing in the budget. You'll see that's a high item as you view our budget. But all of these things come different times of the year. So when you're looking at our budget, and I know that's one thing that we talked about was laying the budget out for line items along the way. Well, a lot of our stuff comes beginning of the year, a lot of it comes end of the year. So if it comes at the end of the year, like certifications, it all comes at one time, say in end of July or 1st of August. So we might spend $10,000 in certifications where they come to test the ladders and they test the pumps and all that. It's scheduled, but we don't really have a control over that. So we'll have a zero all year long, and all of a sudden, bam, it hits 100% on that line item. And as we go through, if y'all have any questions about those line items, please ask, because I want you to understand why that budget reflects that way. Highlights and opportunities. The good things about the department, I don't know why they're yellow, but I guess that's why we're going to talk about them. We do have a dedicated group of volunteers. We have a roster of 30 guys. We're currently down to 22 guys, I think, on the roster. We have about 16, 17 guys that are really hard at it all the time. But those 17 guys keep the city rolling. We currently have an ISO rating of 3. Do your research on that. Class 3 is actually great for the fire service. It's rated on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. So we are a class 3, which is a great thing. Another item in the fire department's communication. We actually use our communication through Chevy County 911. Chevy County 911 is one of the most elite communication systems in the nation. They are top of the line. Our water system is one of the best around. We have a great water system. So all these things are points that give us our rating and get you your insurance rates at home to what you have. All this is grades, so all this is great things. You know, again, with proper staffing, that's the only way to improve, and that's the next way to improve your ISO rating. We're as good as we can get without paid personnel. So if you want to, and there's not that much difference between 2 and 3 as far as ratings, but the next step in the fire service, past the 3 or lower than a 3, is paid personnel. That comes with staffing, but with staffing comes money. So, you know, that just depends on where the city wants to go with that. Something we didn't talk about, when I talked about the station, was adding a second station on the other side of town. That is a concern because we have talked about growth, and it depends on where that growth goes and how far it actually climbs. If we do get those subdivisions on the other side of town and builds up the town, then we're going to need equipment on that side of town, on that side of the tracks. That is one thing that ISO recommends, is that you have a station on both sides of the tracks. Now, keep in mind, we don't have trains all day long that sit on our tracks, but they don't look at that. They just look at the set of tracks. Okay? So it's a little different, but yes, it would be nice to have another station on the other side of town. Keep in mind, the way, if you back up to what I was talking about the aging fleet, the trucks that we have bought through the last 50 years, I can remember that we actually sold 1 truck in the history that I can remember. That being said, all of our trucks are kept up. They're older, but they're kept up to specification. And currently, we have enough trucks to fill 2 stations equally. We have 2 ladder trucks. We have 4 pumpers. We have 2 brush trucks. So you could split, and it was planned that way long term. So if we did get a second station, by not selling anything, we could split it up 50-50 and have the same amount of apparatus on the side of town. So the groundwork's been done for Station 2, and I know we've talked about it a lot. It just depends on where we go and how you want to handle that, and where you want to put it, and all those type of things. But other than that, I love the program. I love the fact of being talking about it. It brings out good points. I hope I touched on all the notes, maybe not in quite order, but I hope I touched on it. Is there any questions?
Council have any questions for Chief Albert?
Sir? The age of the truck doesn't necessarily reflect the rating as long as the truck passes specification. Now, there are some age limits way back where you can't count those style trucks anymore, but all the trucks we have, excluding the vintage trucks that we keep for the parade service, pass all specifications, which we can count on our eyes. So, the only place we're hurting on trucks is the fact that our first out truck is 11 years old. And when we bought that last truck, I'll be honest with you, when we bought the 2009 model, at that time, we were kind of in a situation where we weren't as wealthy as we wanted to be. So we bought a commercial chassis. That's the only chassis that we have that's not a custom truck. And when I say custom truck, I mean built for the fire service. It's more like a garbage truck, but it's got a fire truck body. So the lifespan of that truck, the newest truck we have, isn't going to be near what. I guess what I'm saying is the 89 model truck that we bought in 89 is better than the 09, okay? It's just a better unit because for long-term use. That being said, not knowing where our finances are or anything like that, but when we look at a truck, it would really be better to buy a custom truck than another commercial chassis, something you're going to keep forever. Because in Columbiana, like I said, we had never sold but one. So.
Any other questions for the chief? Okay, thanks a lot, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, library, Sheila.
All right, the only concern we have right now is like the traffic becoming more people. And it's gradually improving since we opened it up so they can browse the shelves and, get what they want for themselves. And we started coming back last week. And our neighbors have started back, so we're just gradually opening got more programs as we go. I mean, we're not overwhelmed by any means, to get concerned. And as the COVID, gets better, of course, it's going to pick up, and then highlights and opportunities. We received 9,000 of a LSDA grant for education development and nonfiction. We applied for 10,000.
So, along those lines, the city does have an allocation, there's potential we could get more, of CARES Relief Act capability from the state. The state has about $1 billion it needs to spend by the end of this calendar year. And we certainly like to get our fair share of it. Johnny, going back to the PPE, given the fact that you're oftentimes called on for personal assist type things, your folks need PPE for that, and you need to replace PPE. So if we haven't already done that, we need to look at taking advantage of the CARES Act money for that. Sheila is already looking at tablets for the library for those folks who maybe need access to the internet. We're also, I think, going to look at the potential of getting funding for internet hotspots. But another thing, since you're opening it up to different groups and whatnot, the sanitization of the facility, so a contract with somebody like CERT probably could possibly get funding for that as well. So I just encourage all of our department heads to think out of the box on how we can take advantage. We haven't even, we've been allocated nearly $250,000, and so far we've only come up with a drop in the bucket of that $250,000 how to spend it. So if we don't figure out how to spend it, somebody else will, and they'll take that money back.
You're talking about for our supplies and stuff?
Yeah. Okay, thanks. All right, environmental, Dale.
The equipment we have is highlighted in red. Some of that equipment's in need of repair at the treatment plant. Treatment plant dates back to 1986. So we've maintained it for the last 18 years I've been there and kept all that in pretty good working order, but some of it's getting out of date, so we're looking at getting some of those repairs done. And the collection system, everybody knows what kind of shape this is. It dates back to the 30s and 40s. So we applied for a grant, which Mayor sent an email out on. It's $450,000 their share. It's the CDBG project, Community Development Block Grant. So we're getting awarded that grant. The total project's gonna be $623,000. Our part will be 200 something thousand. So we're looking forward to getting that started. We're gonna start working on that in January as far as getting easements and right-of-ways. That extends the main trunk line from Highway 25 across from Napa, over behind the Piggly Wiggly in front of First US Bank, and we'll increase the pipe size from a 15-inch. That's going under State Highway 25 over towards McDonald's. And that pipe's got some issues, so we're going to go ahead and replace that with a larger pipe, put in some new manholes, and eliminate overflow in front of First US Bank. Training, my guys are working on their continuing education hours. I'm working on my continuing education hours. And we've got one employee that's working on getting his 1C, which AM's going to require. They're going to separate the treatment process and the collection system process probably about June of next year. So you're going to have a certified operator to run the collection system and one operator at the plant. So he's scheduled to go take this test December 29th this year. So we'll know immediately if he passes. Issues and concerns. Well, in the past, we've been through a lot of employees training, this and that. So if you guys could look and work with us to bring our pay scale up to competitive pay scale with neighboring cities, that'd be something be great if we could sit down and look at. Because we lose a lot of good employees in the city as far as pay increases. Highlights and opportunities. The yearly plan inspection from ADM went well. We had no violations, and we haven't had any violations of the treatment plan since 2003. So we're on good terms with the state. And I've already mentioned I've got the one employee that's taking his test from this.
All right, thanks, Dale. I want to appreciate what you and Sheila both have done as far as getting the grant money. That's the city is really dependent on getting the money to help us fund some of the projects we need. Any other questions or comments for Dale? Okay. All right, so the probably biggest order of business that we have for tonight's meeting is the appointment of vacancies on various city boards. And the first one that we have is the Planning Commission. Now, the Planning Commission, we often refer to it as the Planning and Zoning Commission. State statute some years ago actually combined those two into one thing, called it the Planning Commission. But essentially, they do the same thing as that they've always done, planning and zoning. The board members of this commission are appointed by the mayor. And the folks that I have selected to sit on this board, and we have some vacancies, some terms that have expired and needed to be filled or reappointed. And I've decided to reappoint Ryan Talley, who is the current chairman of the Planning Commission, and his term will expire in November of 25. I'm going to appoint Karen Lilly, who's a councilwoman Lilly, who will be an ex officio member of the commission. I'll be reappointing Charlene Tucker, who is also an ex officio member, and all that means is they will sit on that commission as long as this administration is active in the city of Columbiana. And then for a vacancy that has been left by Rick Williams, I'm going to appoint Scott Hoyt for a term that will expire in 2026. So that's the Planning Commission. Any questions from council? Okay, so the Planning Commission appointments have been accepted. Okay, Beautification Board. The rest of these boards our city boards, and the board members are appointed by the city council. So you can see that the recommendation of the council, we discussed this in a work session earlier this week, appointing Kim King to a term, Councilwoman King to a term expiring in 2023, appointing Susan Kahn to a term expiring in 2022, Jonathan Harrison expiring in 2023 also, Hope Finley in 2023, and Karen Powell in 2022. Is there a motion to accept these appointments? Joanne? Okay. Beautification board appointments. And the next one is the library board. So the council has nominated Karen Lilly to a term to expire in October of 2024. I'm going to reappoint Beth Strickland to a term expiring in October of 2022. Reappointing Twyla Fryer to a term expiring in 2023. And appointing Teresa Whiting to a term expiring in 2021. Is there a motion to accept these nominations?
I'll make that motion to accept the appointments.
Plans? And library board appointments have been accepted. Recreation board appointments. Recommendation is to appoint Richard Sutton to a term expiring in 2022. Ashley Phillips, Councilman Phillips, to a term expiring in 2023. Reappointing Andrew Luter to a term expiring in 2024, and reappointing Alan Payne to a term expiring in 2025. Is there a motion to accept the recreation board appointments?
I'll make that motion to accept the recreation board.
Second.
And show of hands. And the recreation board appointments have been accepted. Okay, so this is basically some of the other things. These things were on the agenda at the last council meeting, and they basically still apply. Business license renewals, police department with the candy cane Christmas tree. They have candy cane buddies. They have a tree downstairs in the police department lobby where you can get a candy cane. Chief Bowers, you want to talk about that real quick?
Yes, sir. The Candy Cane Buddies is going extremely well. I think we had 34 families apply, and I think there might be less than 13 left on the tree. So we're real excited, looking forward to purchasing some gifts for some kids and making some kids' days. So still.
When's the last day to give the
I believe it's going to be about the third week in December, closer to Christmas, or as soon as you can get it, the quicker we can get it back, the better. But they're going pretty fast, so if you want one, you got to come on down and get one because they seem to be flying off the tree.
Senior Center, Al, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, we are still delivering about 50 meals every day to the home meal. We've suspended all of our coffees that we were doing on Wednesday mornings and our Friday picnics because Shelby County is in red. Our COVID numbers are in red. And so until that kind of lessens, we really need to keep people social distance and keep our seniors healthy.
And I think Chief Howard did a good job of talking about the fact that the fire department's looking for new blood, and they're accepting applications. So, any other discussion of these items? Okay, these are same items, but updates to the items that I talked about in the last meeting. The 100-day plan that I discussed in the last meeting for the new mayor is, I hope, posted on the website as of this afternoon. We were struggling a little bit to get it up there, but it is on there. Boards and the commissions, we just went through an appointment of most of those. There are 2 incorporated boards that have vacancies. These are a little bit more complicated. One of them is the Public Park and Recreation Board, and the other one is the Cultural Facilities Cooperative District of the City of Columbiana. Both of those were created to facilitate the financing of the Old Mill Square development. And there's a vacancy in each one of those, and council needs to, has identified a vacancy or a candidate for one of the vacancies, and then we have to identify a candidate for the remaining vacancies. Policies and procedures, I've talked about the fact that we have policies and procedures that some are out of date. There are some things that we simply don't have policies and procedures for. So we're basically reviewing all of our policy procedures to see what we need, what we don't need, what needs to be updated. And that's going to be an extensive process, and that's probably going to continue to well into the next year. Website enhancement, just mentioned that, we're still working on that. We've had some challenges, for example, with the live streaming of this meeting. We've got some new equipment. Hopefully those folks who are watching on the Facebook and the website will have a better experience this time than we had the last time. And we're beginning to get more of our data posted on the website, but we're working on improvements to try to make it a little bit more user-friendly for us to be able to put the stuff out there, as well as for those folks who want to access that data as well. Allie, is there anything about the website that you want to add?
A lot of it is just trying, we have all the items for the cart, but not the horse right now. And so we have all the data, but we really don't have the pages developed to put it onto. And so that's really what we're working on now, is creating those new pages and tweaking some of the older pages so that we can make it work. So, and we're going to get there.
Thanks. So the visioning, strategic planning, and economic development, really a part of the 100-day plan. This is areas that I campaigned on when I was running for mayor. I have been in some preliminary discussions with some resources that we have available to us to help us with economic development, strategic planning, etc. And I've been talking to 58 Inc., who was looking to host an economic development conference in January, and I have offered up the Grand Hall of Old Mill Square, and perhaps having Columbiana host that conference here. And obviously with the ulterior motive of trying to slant it to where it's as favorable as it can possibly be towards businesses and economic development in Columbiana. Budgeting and financial reporting, something else that I campaigned on. We did get our budget report for 2020 posted on the website as well. Okay. And we had just recently completed the audit for 2019. That is posted on the website. The unaudited budget summary reports are on the website for 2020. We will be, each month, we will be updating our fiscal year 2021 budget, so you can see how we're doing as the year goes along. That will be posted on there as well. And then later this week, we're also going to be meeting with our auditors and start the preliminary work for that auditing process for our 2020 financials. And then the last one is the selection of the police chief. One of the critical areas that responsibilities that I have as mayor, and those interviews are scheduled for this week, and I hope to have that permanent position filled within 2 weeks of those interviews. Any question or discussion on the council on these items? Okay, announcement. Allie, you want to speak to this?
Sure. So this Friday night is the Christmas parade at 5. All the food trucks will open, and we'll have carolers from the Baptist Church who are dressed in their costumes, in their, what are we calling it? Not old-fashioned, but in their old-fashioned costumes. Thank you. So they'll be walking around Main Street and in the park caroling. At 6 o'clock, we have the dancers from Elvin Hill Elementary School, and they'll dance at the amphitheater at Old Mill Square Park. At 7, the parade will begin. The parade route is a little bit different, and we have a map. Do we want to go to that now?
We'll go after you
Okay.
finish.
But the parade route this time will be basically the same as the Liberty Day parade route. So,
The reason I don't want to go to the
yeah.
maps, I'm not sure.
how to go back. Okay. That's a great reason. So the parade will begin at 7, and immediately following the parade, we'll do the tree lighting ceremony in the park. If you haven't driven by to see the Christmas tree, it looks really, really good. Al's guys got the lights on. All the decorations will be on tomorrow, so it's going to look really great. So that'll be it. And then we'll have some caroling during the tree lighting ceremony too, so that will be fun. On the 5th, this Saturday, is the Shelby County Arts Council's Artist Market in the Grand Hall. There'll be food trucks on Saturday. They have lots of vendors scheduled to come, so it should be a really fun day.
Now, I understand they're gonna open that up on the 4th early.
They will have a limited number of vendors open. The Pottery Collective will be open Friday night, so that you can go and purchase some Christmas presents. So on the 9th, we will have the Mayor's Association luncheon. The 12th is Santa on Main. So South Main Street will be closed from 8 until noon, so that kids can run around and sit in Santa's lap and get their picture taken. And Fat Johnny's is going to do pancake breakfast that morning. So that should be a fun morning to bring the kids out to see Santa. And then on December 18th, the Columbiana merchants are going to bring back Ladies' Night. So Just a Tish will be open. All the shops on Main Street will be open. So it'll be a nice time for moms and grandmoms and aunts to get together and leave their children with the daddies and shop a little while. So it should be a lot of fun.
I'll never get Kathy in just a tip.
Probably not. So, but it should be a fun December.
Thanks. All right, so here's the map.
Yes, so this is the map. So the license office is where, if you are in the parade at 6:30 on Friday night, you'll need to meet at the license office, and the parade route goes, I don't know the names of streets. Down the street, but basically down West Sterrett and then straight down Main Street to the park. So it will not come in front of the Board of Education this year. No one is sadder than me about this, because that's where my house is. So, but yeah, so the route will be, and that we're just trying to get everybody to the park for the tree lighting ceremony.
So the latest update that I saw is a 70% chance of putting it on Friday.
I did see this too.
You know, it's funny, yesterday it was 60%, I got up this morning, it had gone away, no rain, and now this evening it's 70% again, so.
Oh, it's probably be snow.
What are the rain alternatives?
Kim and I kind of talked about it. What are the rain alternatives?
I said, just my opinion, since this is the first year that we've changed things, that we're going to do it in the rain. But I'm open to that.
Well,
I think maybe by
you know, there are
Friday.
places near the tree where people can stand under shelter if it's not
Pouring.
I mean, if it's pouring down rain. There are places where it can be seen from a park only. There is shelter and colonnade around the fountain as well. So I think we have some options. So I would say yes, we go forward with it. But I also would ask that everybody really get the word out to all your friends and family that we're planning on doing this. It's going to be cold. There's a good chance it's also going to be raining. Some would say that's Christmassy, and others would say that's misery. But nevertheless, hopefully it's going to be a great ceremony.
Would it be an option to move it to Saturday if it's a downpour?
Well, I think maybe Friday morning we make a call and say, this is, I mean, if it's going to be 100% chance of rain, then
You think Friday morning?
it is
How early?
Alabama. I would say, or maybe Thursday night, wouldn't we know?
No, I'm saying later.
Oh, you think later?
Because
Well,
you know how the weather
Maybe.
changes.
Right, and just.
Well, it is
70%,
Alabama.
is that gonna be 70% in the morning?
The last time I looked, it looked like the morning was really
And see,
rainy.
and that's okay, if it's just raining in the morning and then it stops, we're good to
Mhm.
go.
So maybe by 1.
Yeah, I would say early afternoon,
Okay.
right, shortly after lunch.
All right.
Make a decision, yeah. And then we'll use whatever medium we can,
Mhm.
to get the word out. We'll have, obviously the sign at the Old Mill Square we can use, we have websites and Facebook. What else, what are the alternatives?
Shower in the street.
Phone a friend. Okay, all right, Alan.
I would like to add though, our grand marshal this year,
Oh,
the
yes, thank
Christmas
you.
parade is with the making. And, I'm glad, it's, I think we need to show her how much we appreciate all the things she's done all through the years. She was excited to do that, so.
Okay, very good. All right, this is where we open it up to the public for comments. Are there any questions or comments from anyone? Going once.
I think it would be fun if it could be part of decorating.
Pardon?
I think it would be fun if we could be part of decorating the green.
Yeah, I think they would be happy to have as many volunteers as they could possibly get.
1:30 tomorrow. Meet at the tree.
Any other comments? Okay. If there's no other business, is there a motion to adjourn? Take that motion to adjourn.